It's already at 3 and can just start. So hi everyone and good evening. Assalamualaikum. So my name is Ameer and I will be your speaker for today's webinar. So the title that I will cover for today's webinar is Penetration Testing Fundamentals, which is the art of ethical hacking. So for this webinar, the goal is to make sure that you will understand what is penetration testing, what is the definition for it. We will also explore what are the importance regarding to penetration testing, why we need to do a pen test. Will be really helpful for today's cyber landscape. Also, I want to give the best practices on how to prevent us and our organizations from being attacked by cyber threats and data breaches. So as a start, we will go through what is a pen test or penetration testing and how does it work, what do they do. Second, we shall know why does penetration testing is important. Next will be the risks and consequences if not being pen test, and also the some practices that can be done by us to protect and make sure our system more secure. And lastly will be the conclusion. So as a start for today's webinar, we will talk about just a little brief about technology. So during few years back, everyone most likely do not have smartphones or their own devices. Also, not to mention that we are likely do not have any internet access unless we connect to a Wi-Fi or a free Wi-Fi or go to cyber cafe. And I assume that we all have that experience, right? And as for now, technology keep evolving year by year, and everyone have their own smartphones, including children. It able to access to the internet and surf whatever we want. So internet speed also become way much better than previous years and faster. Also, we can also become cashless, just QR, just using our QR or making online transactions with just tip of our hand using our smartphones. And what else? Easily watch your favorite movie or drama by watching at Netflix and YouTube. Communicate to our friends, connect to others through social media, and all those can just be done with the help of internet, and we are able to become fully online. So although online is very beneficial for us, but digital world is way scarier than we thought. As we can hear from any talks from our surroundings that that guy bank account just got hacked and lost all of his money. A neighbor just got scammed through phishing email or any malicious link that he clicked by accidentally in a public group, in WhatsApp group, and all the data has been locked by ransomware. An organization just lost all the data because accidentally download a malware from any malicious websites and etc etc. Also, one of the reasons because people are letting the hacker get in by themselves because they are lack of knowledge in IT infrastructure. So they just click whatever they see and download whatever they want. Being a hacker is just not having the skills that you need skills to hack. People now have the internet. They just could search all the exploitations and hacking techniques through the internet. So they will try and error whatever they found on the internet. So if they success, then they success and can get any thing that their goal. So being online, we could encounter a lot of cyber threats such as ransomware, malware, or any malicious software and viruses. So for systems, it might got attacked with SQL injection, DDoS, unauthorized access, and many more. So next, in the slides, here is a statistic that I obtained for reported incidents based on general incidents classification with statistics, which is for 2023 last year. So thank you to my cert for this information. And if you want to see all the graphs here, you can also browse to my cert website for see the reported incidents year by year. So from the graph, there are many cyber attacks attempts that have been reported my cert. So we can look at the legends. They have denial of service, intrusion, content related, intrusion attempt, vulnerability report, malicious codes, fraud, and also spam. So from the y-axis, you can see the reported number of incidents, and as for x-axis is the month, which is from January to December. And as we can see, the minimum incident reported uh, for minimum is almost 400 attacks, and the highest would be like most almost 600 attacks. So here are the total numbers for reported for the previous graphs. So let us focus on intrusion and intrusion attempts. So the difference between these two are intrusion. For intrusion, hackers has been successfully and get into your network or systems, while intrusion attempts, so intrusion attempts, they didn't success, but they have set their target to hack. Usually the attempts are done because hackers think that the target have so many interesting or sensitive data that could be stolen and sell in the dark web, or probably hackers know the system are hackable due to using vulnerable or outdated components. So they might just want to train their skills or and making the environment just for their playground to enhance their skills. So the examples that they usually use for intrusion attempts are like phishing, brute force attack, and exploiting vulnerabilities that they see in the system. So from day by day, hackers are increasing and followed by cyber threats. Thus, we also need to prioritize in protecting our cybersecurity environment. So how are we going to make sure that our system and network are safe from them, safe from any cyber threats and also hackers? So here is the solution that would help us from being attacked and hacked, which is one of it is penetration testing. So before I proceed to what is penetration testing, do you guys clear? All right, thank you for the reply. Okay, now we will discover what is penetration testing or what is pen test. So pen test is a simulated cyber attack against your computer system to check for any exploitable vulnerabilities. So as an example, to basically understand about the penetration testing are is uh, let's say I rent a house and the house is basically the example of our computer system or network. So most likely, I want to make sure that my house is to become secure as possible. Why do I need to secure? To prevent from who? So of course, from unintended guests or thieves out there. So because in my house have so many expensive and valuable items, like my little brother had a collection of Hot Wheels, so of course it's valuable to him. So to make sure that I don't want to him be sad, I will likely to make sure that it is safe. So I hired a security expert to test our house security. So who are the professional that to make sure that my house uh, or my computer system or network is safe is by calling professionals, security professionals, which is the white hat teams. So there are many types of hackers in this real world. So two main of type of hackers that I want to highlight are black hat and white hat. So black hat are the real bad guys, real hackers that steal all of our data and compromising the systems. While white hat, which is ethical hacker, is also called as pen testers. They don't hack for stealing purposes. They get hired by companies or any organizations to ethically hack into their systems. Of course, it is done by the company permission since they the one that hired them to test it. And the goal for each pen tester is to identify vulnerabilities and security weakness in a system. They use the same techniques that malicious hackers might use, but the goal is to patch those holes before any hackers or attackers that could exploit them be- before it getting hacked. So when a pen tester finds a vulnerability, they report it to the system owner and work with them to patch it and fix it. So might might be will not have the weak spots there anymore. So this helps the organizations improve their overall security posture and make it harder for real black hats attackers to gain access into the system. So now we're talking about the CIA triads, which is it is the fundamental framework in information security. So what is CIA? CIA is stands for confidentiality, integrity, and also availability. That represents the three core objectives that any security strategy should strive to achieve. So for confidentiality, to it ensures that uh, only authorized individuals or systems can access the sensitive information. So, for example, only the personal information of our information, so, for example, or any organization data is to have the authorized individuals that could access it to the system and can access to the sensitive information. Plus, to make it more secure, we should implement encryption to make it more confidential. Like in banks, to protect their customers' bank account details, they encrypt all the data and only unauthorized users that could access it. If it's being even if it's being breached. So move on to integrity. It is by maintaining the accuracy of completeness of data. Data integrity ensures information cannot be altered or edited easily. So maintaining integrity means safeguarding data from corruption, modification, or deletion by unauthorized access. If an unauthorized party alters account balances, it could lead to incorrect financial reports and also loss of customers' trust. And lastly will be the availability, ensuring that data, services, and resources are accessible, always accessible whenever they need to use it, reducing the downtime and make it always accessible. So authorized users like us, if we want to use our banking apps, we should need that app is always running, right? So to make sure its availability, we should always uh, keep it available re- and prevent it from down. So what can and hackers can attack? So firstly is software that would likely have your safe project inside any software, IoT device such as our smart home appliance. Let's say hacker get into your house or company CCTV, it will compromise the security privacy. Mobile application, hackers can inject any spyware inside if the mobile application is vulnerable. Operating system, from operating system, what can they gain? They could data breach. They could breach your data, making disruption into the system, and also injecting malwares. Network, by gaining backdoor access, they could search any for unprotected pathways into the network systems and also devices that connected to the network. And lastly would be the website. So such as making the website down by sending DDoS. Also, from the websites, it's connected to the database. They can steal any user confidential information by using SQL injection, or might take over the user account by using brute forcing passwords. So everything that has an IP address can be hacked or attacked. Now we move on to how do hackers get inside. So firstly, by using vulnerable or unpatched software. So when a software is not updated, it can have so many security holes that hackers can exploit to get in. So when a company or organization uses an old version of a web browser, hackers could find a known security flaw in that browser version and use it to access to the company's network. So basically, for vulnerable components, we could search in CVE website, which is Common Vulnerability Exposure, and from there we can see that what are the vulnerabilities that reported from it, and basically and hackers might use that opportunity to use the vulnerable components and try to exploit the vulnerable components. Next will be poor password protection, which is users using weak or reused password, which make it easy for hackers to guess or crack them. For example, a weak password, which is password 123, used for their work account or maybe any other accounts that connected. And hackers use a list, also can brute force it using a list of common passwords and quickly gain access to the employee's account. Next will be information gathering. So for information gathering, hackers collect information about a target on how the ways to break in, such as your personal information, where do you live from that you posted. They will know when you posted in social media, so they try to do some information gathering, do some reverse social engineering, and they just stalk you and collecting informations from any social media or the internet. Next, by plugging an unknown and malicious USB drive, inserting an unknown USB drive can install malware on your computer. So when an employee finds a USB drive in the parking lot and they don't know what is the content on it in it, so they plug into their work computer out of curiosity, and the USB automatically installs a malware that gives the hackers access to the network. Next will be phishing campaign. Hackers can send fake emails to trick people into giving away personal information or clicking on malicious links. So if an employee receives an email that looks like it's from their bank, so without hesitation, for asking any people, they just click and submit their informations that the form request, and the hackers steal their login credentials, and they don't know that the form lit- uh, is a key login activity. So next is by installing malicious programs. Hackers trick people into downloading and installing harmful software. A password downloads a free game from an unofficial website. The game will install a keylogger that records everything that you type, including your password, and all the things that you type will be sent it to the hacker's machine, and they will know whatever you type and what kind of uh, what what do you search in the internet. So mistakes in setting up software, also how do hackers get in? So it can create security weaknesses. So when a web developer forgets to secure the admin page of a website, for example, so it will allows anyone to access it without a password. So hackers, if they find this page, and they could control at this site. Lastly, will be internal help, which is someone inside the organization help hackers either on purpose or by accident. So, when an employee shares their login credentials with hackers for money, so the hackers use these credentials to access sensitive company data, which most likely that they bribe the internal employee. So when all the criteria are not being fixed, you might just get hacked. So here is uh, the vulnerability components that will be reported in CVE. So from here, as an example, we can see that for Apache, which is what are the versions that are vulnerable. So from the example on the top list is Apache Active MQ version 6. It has the vulnerable components, and it also report what 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 they can do. Next is by top 10 worst passwords. So you can see here all the passwords that usually like a common password that would easily to remember, and if even if it's easy to remember, it is also easy to guess. So for a question, what is the best password policy? What is the best way to secure a password? What should be done to make the password more stronger? and unable for hackers to guess our passwords, or might not cannot be or might cannot be brute force. Yes. What are the ways that we can make our password more stronger? What should we include into the password? Yep, true. And the most important thing is to make sure that our password is minimum with 8 characters, mixed with capital letters, special characters, and also numbers. So that's how we can make our password more stronger. So now we also need to careful on what we want to post it in online. So make sure that we do not share our banking account details, our home address, personal home address, or maybe our personal email address, and make sure that we don't expose our IC and so on that are related to our personal informations that we should not post in public. And here are the some of the malicious software that we need to be aware. So from any phishing campaigns and also USB drive. So now we go to overview of hacking process. First is reconnaissance, which is the first step where hackers can gather as much information as possible about their target. So hackers might search their targets by search in social media profiles, company websites, or public records to learn about the employees, the company structures, and also any potential weaknesses that they could exploit. Next will be scanning. Hackers use tools to scan the target system to find open ports, services, and vulnerabilities. Such the example of the tools are like Nmap, which is network mapper. A hacker can scans a computer's network and finds that a specific server is running an outdated version of software with a known vulnerability. So this information helps them to pinpoint where they could attack, what services they are doing, and what are the ports that are open. So for the third step is by gaining access. This is the stage where hackers exploit a vulnerability to enter the target system. So the attacker usually exploit with building a piece of code designed to take advantage of the vulnerability that they have found to gain access to the outdated server. Uh, to gain access to the outdated server, so they might use a known exploit for that specific software version to create a backdoor or just direct gain administrative privileges. Next, if the hackers able to gain uh, the authorized access, they would likely want to maintain their access. So they establish methods to retain control over the compromised system without getting detected or traced. So hackers will try to install a rootkit or backdoor on the compromised server, allowing them to return at any time without using the initial exploit again. So they will just like using the backdoor, open the door without any locks implemented. And lastly, they will cover tracks, erase any signs of their presence to avoid detection and investigation. Now we will look on to overview of pen test process. So first thing is the by reconnaissance, same as hackers, which we will gather as much as information about the target to understand uh, if there's any potential entry points. So the activities for a pen tester will do is by collecting data from publicly available sources such as websites, social media, public records, and also Shodan, identifying domain names, IP addresses, and also the network ranges. Next will be profiling or vulnerability analysis, which is in this phase, the gathered information is used to profile the target and identify vulnerabilities. So with scanning the network for open ports and services, we could identify the software versions and configurations, and for checking known vulnerabilities using vulnerability database. So for network, usually pen testers will use Nmap or Nessus, and for website application, we'll use WebSuite Pro, uh, and also uh, OpenVAS. Next, we'll go to discovery. So discovery will be the detailed examination of the vulnerabilities that have been found. So in discovery phase, uh, manual testing and verification of vulnerabilities will be implemented. So as it will assess the impact and exploitability of the vulnerabilities. After that, a pen test, if they found that it is exploitable, they will try to exploit the identified vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access or control over to take over the system. So some of the examples that they would use is by using SQL injection techniques. The tester will exploit the vulnerable to plug in to access to the website database, and they will try to dump all the sensitive customer information to demonstrate the impact of the vulnerability. Other than that, we're gaining access to systems, escalating privileges, and capturing any sensitive data. So the tools that can be usually a pen tester will use is by Metasploit, making building or building a custom scripts, and also using any various tools that could be found on the internet. And lastly, will be reporting. So for reporting, it will documenting the findings of the penetration test. It will include the vulnerabilities that have been discovered, and slightly will brief a simple brief about it, how they were exploited, and what are the recommendations for fixing it or to remediate it. So the details report with technical and executive summaries. So providing actionable recommendations to fix identify vulnerabilities. So the importance of doing a pen test, usually organizations handles a lot of sensitive financial and personal data, which must be protected from any breaches from an outside attack. So pen test will help to uncover security weakness that could lead to data breaches. So by addressing these vulnerabilities, any organizations or companies can safeguard the customer information. So by pen test, and early detection of vulnerabilities also allows organizations to take proactive measures to secure their infrastructure. It provides a clear understanding of the security posture and highlights areas that need improvement. Also, misconfigurations that these tools also could be missed, and it ensures that security defenses are effective and correctly configured. And also pen test will help organization meets the regulatory compliance requirements and enhances the consumer trust by demonstrating a commitment to proactive cybersecurity measures. So when we should pen test? So regularly, as specified by the regulatory body, this is pen test should be often uh, test annually or whenever significant changes occur. So if your organization has never conducted a pen test, significant changes such as moving to a new location, deploying new software, or upgrading infrastructure, it can introduce to new vulnerabilities. So it's very crucial to establish a baseline on understanding of your security posture. So if your organization was recently hacked, pen testing is the crucial thing to find the to find and fix the exploited vulnerabilities and any other potential weaknesses. Right now, we move on. How do we learn pen test? What are the pen testers need to know about? So as you can see from the pie chart in this slide, it shows you the percentage of a rough percentage, a rough image of how and what you need to learn on how to pen test. So basically, there are 5 elements that a pen tester need to focus on, and what are the things that the pen tester need to know. So we have here information gathering, manual testing, automated tools, reporting, and also remediation. So first, we will look on in information gathering. Information gathering, will write roughly like 25%, as a pen tester need to use their time properly in collecting the data of their target. So they would it is basically a reconnaissance mission. So if network, they need to collect the IP address that they want to test. If URL, they need to discover all the paths that can be accessed from the URL. And from all the results that they have collected, they can visualize on what to do for the next step. Then it will be the 10% for each of the elements here, which is automated tools, reporting, and also remediation. So automated tools will performing scans on the target and identify the vulnerabilities for the target. And by that, as a tester, they need to know on how to use the tool really well, because the tool itself will likely help you in doing the exploitation and by saving their time too. So to report the vulnerabilities and show it in black and white, a tester have to document them clearly so that they can show what is going on and what kind of vulnerabilities that they have found. A tester should know how to do a standard pen test report. So they would likely need to explain the risk inside the report. They would likely need to explain the risk, the potential impacts, and provide any actionable recommendations that they can suggest. And remediation, uh, on how to apply patches and fix the vulnerability that they have been reported. And lastly, which is the highest in the pie chart, which is manual testing. This is the part that a tester need to focus on their skills and how creative that they would want to exploit the vulnerability that they have found, which likely need to build a script, a payloads that could be injected in many ways and more. So now that we know the results of the exploitation itself, what kind of the information that they could find from the weak spots. So such as if they found any encrypted passwords, can they encrypt all the passwords and obtain the password, extract all the sensitive data from the target, or might be most critical thing that they could find is to remote the target device. So are you clear about that? All right. So now we go to type of penetration testing. So in penetration testing, it has 3 types of boxes, types of testing, which is black box, gray box, and also white box. So in black box testing, the tester has no prior knowledge of the target system internal work. So they approach the test as likely as an external attacker. So without any information about the network or software or the infrastructure that have been implemented from their target. So the tester will gather information through recognition techniques, uses scanning tools to identify open ports, services, and also potential vulnerabilities. So the attempts to exploit identified vulnerabilities is to gain, obviously to gain access, and the black box will is like realistic simulation of any external threats that could be happen to our system. Next will be white box testing. The tester has full knowledge of the target system, including network diagrams, source code, and misconfiguration details. It can simulate an attack by an insider with extensive knowledge, such as the role of system administrator or developer. It could provide a comprehensive assessment to the system security. Next will be the gray box tester. A tester has partial knowledge about the system, often including access credentials and some information about the network architecture and also software. So it's likely simulates an attack by an insider, but from someone that has a limited access, such as uh, uh, an employee, a partner, or also a contractor. So now I will show you a live demo. Okay, so now we have here on the screen is Windows 10, host Windows 10, and it is using IceCast server. So IceCast here, and so let's say we want to pen test this target. So basically, the organization asks to pen test, and they will provide the IP address. So likely the IP address for this machine is 192.168.118. So now we go to the attacking machine, which is using Kali Linux. So from here that we already have our IP address, so we want to collect information about it. So we can use Nmap. So basically, Nmap is a tool for network mapping that is free and powerful. So here we can see that all the ports, most 1,000 ports that are open. So here in IceCast, it will be hosted in port 8,000. So we can see here. Okay, so from Nmap, we can see that the information that they have enumerates that the port is using IceCast. So from there we can search in CVE that the IceCast for IceCast, and it is public exploit. It is a public exploit. So it says here it can remote code execution with using several tools, which is MSF console. So here that we know that so in Metasploit, they already have built modules for exploiting IceCast. So we can just search IceCast using Metasploit, and we can see that this is the module that we can use for exploiting the IceCast. And by that, we can just use 0 options. and we need to set the rhost. Right. So now is we can see that a interpreter session has been opened. So interpreter is like it's like we already can get access to the host machine. So let's just get your ID. It is the Windows 10 candidate admin, and you can also try to get their info. So now we know that the computer is running Windows 10 and using 64 bits. So now, uh, since likely it is still in candidate, so we want to privilege escalate the privilege from candidate to the authority system. So we try to get system. So right now we cannot privilege the escalation because it has limited thing that block us. So to privilege escalate, we need to use other modules, which is search bypass UAC. And here there are so many modules that can try to can that a tester could try, but uh, not all of the modules are suitable for each of the exploitations. So a tester need to done one by one. But for this demo, we will try to use exploit Windows local bypass UAC injection win and use module 10. So from here, it will use the payload for Windows x64 since the host machine is x64. So options. So we need to configure the sessions. So how do we search for the sessions? So the host machine that we have Metapreter on it is on session 1. So we just need to set session options. So right now we have the settings all that are not being missed. So we can just run. So now that we have create a new session, which is for this one. So right now it's still in candidate admin. So to privilege escalation and that we have used this module to escalate. Now we try to get system. So right now we are in the system, which we try to get UID. So now we are in anti-authority system. So before this, here, this is the session 1, which is we still in the candidate and use the IceCast module. And from here, we want to try to get into the get system, but it cannot be done. So we need to try use other modules. And by that, we can privilege escalation. So when we are in the anti-authority system, so it's basically we could do anything that we want. So try to enum desktops. And here are the sessions that are usually open, and try to open any softwares from the target machine. So likely if the workstation has been hacked, they will likely can try to execute s1f.exe. So now the process have been done. So we can try to now we can see that the calculator is being opened without the users clicking it. And also we can try to upload. So let's say that the malicious attacker want to upload any share backdoor. So for them to easy gain the access. So now it's already uploaded. So now we can check here. So see. So now it's already been uploaded, and the date is today. Yeah. So how do we want to secure and making sure that our system is not being compromised by the attacks that I have showed you just now? So by that, we need to use use need to pen test. So while skipping penetration testing is a cybersecurity nightmare. So first is we can see from this one Proceso incidents. One of the shocking news that we had just received, which a group of hackers posted in forum that claims that they have successfully hacked into the Proceso infrastructure. So they also shared sample data that included sensitive personal information such as full names, IC numbers, phone numbers, employee salaries, business names, and also even blood types. So hackers release a recording of a Picasso video meeting that have that want to discuss about the post-hacking incidents, and the recording was briefly available on YouTube before it was taken down. Next, we go to for Telecom Malaysia. Hacker alleged to have stolen Telecom Malaysia's customer database with nearly 20 million effective user data. Uh, on January 2024, the user posted about the breach, alleged that stolen data contains 200 million entries, including nearly 20 million effective user data. So to support the claim, the user provided screenshots of the company's customer database architecture documentation. And additionally, samples of the alleged customer data also being shared. Next will be WordPress vulnerabilities that can be exploited, and it is a critical severity vulnerability. It enables them to create user accounts with administrative privileges and plant backdoors for persistent access. And this plugin already been installed in 30,000 websites, allows administrator to automate content importing from various online sources. And the vulnerability resides in the plugin's user authentication mechanism, allowing attackers to bypass authentication and submit any malicious SQL queries, leading to the creation of administrator account on the targeted website. So right now, before we proceed to share yours to the best practices. So are you guys clear? All right, thank you. So now we move on to practice on how to make our cybersecurity infrastructure is secure. So first and foremost, using strong passwords and also implement multi-factor authentication. A strong password is the first line of defense against unauthorized access. So which means that the minimum of each password that we are using right now should have 8 minimum of characters. And also we should mix with alphanumeric and include with special characters. And it would significantly reduce the chances of being breached. So also by implementing MFA, it requires a second form of identification, such as a TAC, and it making it much harder for attackers to gain access, even if they have your password. Then is to restrict access to sensitive data and systems only to those with proper authorization. This will likely to make the human error to make the less human error. So they would likely not to accidentally delete any imported data inside the system. Phishing is one of the most common cyber threats right now. Every day we can see and receive an email from any unknown email. So here is where the attackers trick users into revealing our sensitive information. So a company should have a clear protocol for reporting any suspicious emails and messages that they have received. This helps in identifying and mitigating threats before they could cause harm. So it's crucial to report it really immediately as soon as possible. So always update your software and the components that you are using, making sure that all the bugs and weak spots have been fixed. Always log your computers before leaving your workstation, because unlocked computers can be an open invitation for unauthorized access. And continuous cybersecurity awareness and policy training also is crucial for all employees to make sure that they are always alert and stay vigilant while being online. Proper configuration of security settings also can prevent from many common vulnerabilities. This includes setting strong, unique passwords for these devices and database, disabling unnecessary services, and also ensuring the default settings uh, are not left unchanged. So by implementing these practices, it creates a multi-layered defense strategy that significantly enhances your cybersecurity infrastructure. By combining these efforts, uh, organization organization can protect themselves against a wide array of cyber threats and ensure that the safetyness and the integrity of their data and systems. And next would be performing a pen test. So how often you should perform a penetration testing? At least. Yep, true. Uh, so how we should perform a penetration testing once a year at least. So to make sure that our cybersecurity infrastructure, all our data, and our system have will not be compromised, and preventing it from being breached by any outside attackers. So now we proceed any Q&A sessions. So if there's any questions that you want me to, if there are any inquiries, you might share in the chat box. So instead of Nmap and Kali Linux you show before, I have. So the other tools that can be used is one is Metasploit, and also Kali Linux is just a platform, and in Kali Linux, they already have included all sorts of tools that we can use. So if you want to try, you can try to download the Kali Linux and try to explore all the tools that they have offered. Also, tools for such as cracking password is Hashcat, John the Ripper, and other than that is by uh, Nikto to scan web application and many more. So I hope it will answers your question. So does more complex pen test take a long time? Usually it's a yes, since it is complex. So we need to know everything inside and outside. So basically, minimum to make a complex pen test is by a week or more. So, and also, how does the pen tester use their time to pen test the target? So does a firewall can be good strong defense against cyber attack? Um, yes, it's one of the prevention that you can use to make your network secure, but eventually hackers are like can bypass the firewall. So to make sure that I was to prevent from any cyber attacks, if they can bypass the firewall configuration, and they can try to attack with using their scan that the firewall could block. So basically, uh, it's can be can it can be bypassed. So what are the differences between vulnerability assessment and pen test? So vulnerability assessment usually we just scan, but then not exploiting. While pen test, we try to a pen tester will try to uh, use real simulated attacks, and from the vulnerabilities that they had found, uh, they could know what kind of information that they would get from the exploited from the vulnerable components. And also for the firewall question just now, safe secure coding and secure configuration are also best practices. For Linux is a good prevention from ransomware than Windows OS. Mm, it's practically not no, because it doesn't matter, because most ransomware will most attackers will send any ransomware to their targets, which is usually most of the targets are using Windows, but there are still some ransomware that targets to Linux OS, such as Red Hat and also Ubuntu Server. So by to manage the effective way to manage spam is by filter filtering uh, all the unknown emails that we we do not know, and also do not sign up for any random things. So I guess there's no question for now. So here's a QR that will, if you scan it, it will lead to a form that will claim for free penetration testing. So you might fill it fill the forms that have been provided in the QR. All right. So if everybody have finished scan, so I would like to say thank you. And if there's any inquiries, you can contact in this website. Also can contact in this phone number and also this email. So have a nice day and and enjoy your weekend. Thank you.